Hello there everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games. Today we are talking once more about the Nintendo Switch 2 and the possibility of a reveal this month. Now, if you've been following my videos over the past couple of months, I was very headstrong when believing there would be a reveal in September, and I will take the L on that. I was wrong. So many of us were. Nintendo had seemingly cleared the slate with the Direct at the end of August, as well as the Indie World being on the same day. Then they had new trailers for Zelda and Mario Party, and Mario and Luigi got a teaser, all within like a week time frame, and it really felt like we were on the precipice of something being announced in mid-September. We're kind of in a similar situation again, where just yesterday we got Mario and Luigi previews when I don't think really anybody was expecting that to happen until after Mario Party releases. So I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here, but the slate is cleared once more. They are primed, they are teed up and ready for some sort of Switch 2 announcement, some sort of Switch 2 teaser at the end of October. Let's talk about it. Alrighty folks, good Friday morning. I hope you are having a good one. Today, I want to talk about the possibility of the Switch 2 happening this month. Now, I have talked in videos specifically at the end of September and earlier in October that while I really hope it happens, right? Like, really, genuinely, I truly hope that the Switch 2 happens in October. I wasn't really feeling it, you know? After September 19th, that faded day that felt like everything was leading up to it, I was kind of just burnt. I was like, okay, I just give up, you know? Maybe it's not happening until March 31st, 2025 at this point. You know, I was kind of just beaten down. I was giving up on the Switch 2 reveal in 2024, I will admit. However, this past week, the actions Nintendo has taken, the announcements they have made, has left me feeling like something is going on yet again. And let me preface this by saying it is totally possible that they just have nothing going on at the end of October. Frankly, the end of September and like the first 5 days of October really had nothing going on either. But over the past couple of days, they have done so many interesting new announcements that lead me to believe that something must be happening at the end of the month, right? So obviously we all know Nintendo Sound Clock Alarma was announced on a Wednesday morning, right? That is a huge deal. That is a new alarm clock, a new product line for Nintendo, especially because it's called Sound Clock. I imagine there will be other types of Alarmo, maybe like different colors and stuff. So Alarmo's like a thing now. That's going to be a thing. We're getting software updates for it. So we'll be hearing about Alarmo off and on throughout the years, I imagine. So we had that. Then that same day, they announced that playtest for the Switch Online thing. I've done a lot of videos on that already. I have another video going up tomorrow, I believe, with a bit of a conspiracy theory on what that might be. But then just yesterday morning, we got the big overview trailer for Mario and Luigi Brothership, as well as previews, hands-on impressions from press that played the game behind closed doors. We got all of that in the span of 24 hours. That is really weird, man. Like, if it was spread over the course of a couple of days, like, sure, that's fine. That's one thing. Even that would already be kind of weird. But the fact that it was within a 24-hour period is just so peculiar, especially the Mario and Luigi Brothership previews. That's what really kind of started setting off some neurons in my brain, thinking like, okay, maybe something actually is going on towards the end of the month. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, why does that matter? Why does it matter that Mario and Luigi Brothership previews and hands-on impressions and all that, the overview trailer, why does it matter that that happened this early in October? The reason it matters is because if you look at every overview trailer for every Switch game earlier this year, basically all of them are significantly closer to the release of the game. I think most of us had it pegged down that we would probably get an overview trailer and hands-on impressions for Mario and Luigi the week of like the 21st, right? Somewhere in that range after Mario Party releases. Just looking back at a couple of recent releases from this year, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, that game came out on June 27th. The overview trailer was posted 1 week before release. Nintendo World Championships, once again, I believe that was exactly 1 week before release as well, where the overview trailer was posted on July 11th. Echoes of Wisdom, the overview trailer was on the 12th, so 2 weeks before release. Now, to be fair, Mario Party Jamboree's overview trailer was on September 24th, which is definitely the biggest gap of this little sample I have here. So that's what, a little bit more than 3 weeks from the overview trailer to the actual, you know, game releasing, since that is releasing on October 17th. Mario and Luigi Brothership getting its trailer on Thursday, October 10th, and not releasing until November 7th is a pretty big gap. That's a pretty big lead time on the overview trailer of a Nintendo game releasing and the actual release of the game happening. And yes, it is totally true. There could be a million different reasons for why they decided to post the overview trailer of this game a little bit earlier. Maybe they have another trailer planned for Brothership that they will release before the game comes out. Honestly, I think this game could even get a demo. Maybe they have like a demo trailer, demo available now trailer in late October. That is definitely possible. However, I cannot help but think that maybe they were clearing late October for something more important. The fact that this overview trailer came out before Mario Party is so weird. That is uncommon. That is very rare for a Nintendo game to do that. So while I don't necessarily want to get my hopes up too much, it really does feel like between the playtest happening, which we'll talk more about in just a second, and between Alarmo being announced all within 24 hours or about a 24-hour period, it really does feel like they are clearing the slate, clearing the news slates of all this Switch 1 and you know, unrelated to Switch 2 stuff like Alarmo, right? It feels like they're clearing the slate for something to happen at the end of October. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, they have had quiet weeks in the past. It is possible they just have nothing going on at the end of October. That is possible. However, there's also the Nintendo investor meeting on November 5th. And while it doesn't necessarily have to happen by the time that investor meeting comes, right? Like, they could do the investor meeting and just say, like, hey, we're not commenting on Switch 2 at this time, right? It stands to reason that they would want to announce it before that investor meeting. If they are going to announce it anytime soon, anytime at all soon, they will want to announce it before then. And honestly, if it's not announced then, it probably wouldn't be announced until like February or March, realistically. So before November 5th, now you might be thinking, okay, well, why don't they do it in November? Why don't they do it on November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th? Well, the 5th is election day here in the US, and I mean, they could announce it on election day, right? But I kind of doubt it. And there's also just some other holidays going on at the beginning of November. Of course, October 31st is Halloween. I don't know if that would stop them from announcing it that Thursday. Thursday is a pretty common day for Nintendo news. But what I do find particularly interesting is that if you go back to when the Switch was announced, the NX, back in 2016, that console was announced exactly 1 week before their investor meeting happening at the end of October. The Nintendo Switch was announced on October 20th, and their investor meeting was exactly 1 week later on October 27th that year. And it was actually that 1 week later, I don't know if it was actually in their investor meeting that day, or they talked about it there, but that day they actually announced the Nintendo Switch presentation for 2017. So we could see a very similar situation here, where let's say on October 29th, that's a Tuesday, let's say October 28th, Monday night, they do a little teaser, right? They say, tune in tomorrow morning for the reveal of our next generation console. Then on Tuesday the 29th, we get some sort of new hardware reveal, Nintendo Direct, even if it's just a trailer, maybe it'll be a direct presentation, who actually knows. And then a week later, they give some more details on like, hey, we're doing a big presentation in January. If they want to mimic exactly what they did with the Switch, that would line up perfectly. And yeah, I get it. They don't have to follow that pattern again, right? I mean, we're in a year where we didn't get any major Nintendo news in September, which is the first time that's happened in nearly a decade. So they don't have to do that, right? They don't have to mimic what they did in 2016. However, the timing does just feel right, doesn't it? If it sounds like I'm coping, let me know in the comments down below, but it really does feel like they got all of these announcements out of the way, and then end of October, it's going to be empty. That's exactly a week before, you know, their investor meeting. It really does feel like it's all lining up, right? I feel like a madman right now, you know? We've been talking about this thing for so long, but honestly, it does feel like it could actually happen now. Of course, I also said that in September, but I will take the L on that. I totally was just wrong, right? So that's where my prediction is right now. A reveal at some point between Monday, October 28th through Wednesday the 30th, I would say. In that 3-day period, I think we will likely hear about the Switch 2. If it doesn't happen then, I will eat crow, I guess, but that is where I'm at right now. Now, a lot of people think it will actually happen at the week prior because of this mysterious Switch Online playtest. There are so many people that think that playtest is related to Switch 2, and I'm not going to sit here and say, no, it isn't, because I don't know. We really don't know if that playtest has anything to do with Switch 2. Now, what's weird about the wording for this new Switch Online test that they're doing, they say in the tweet it's related to a new feature for Nintendo Switch Online and for Nintendo Switch. So maybe it's not a game, right? Maybe it's not even an application like a GameCube NSO. Maybe it's something completely different. The word feature does indicate that it is something more, maybe on a system level, like I've talked about trophies, or maybe Miiverse coming back. People have talked about a proper voice chatting app for Nintendo Switch Online owners. Maybe it's new just social features, right? Like that kind of thing. I got a lot of comments saying it could be an activity log, like on the 3DS and Wii U. That'd be awesome. I know the app kind of has some activity log stuff, but nothing to the degree that the 3DS had. So that would be very cool. If it is actually a feature, you have to imagine that's them just kind of getting ready for Switch 2. Yes, it's going to be on Switch. There's no doubt about that. They're testing it on Switch. It will be a new feature for current Switch owners. But also, we are 8 years into the life cycle of this console. It's a little weird to, like, just randomly do this. So it does feel like if it is something like that, like social features, it probably is them kind of future-proofing for the Switch 2, so that way on day one with the Switch 2, you will have whatever this new feature is. If it is actually a new feature and not some sort of game or GameCube NSO application, that kind of thing, right? And the secrecy for this is very weird. Why not just come out and say what this actually is? They're being secretive about it for one reason or another. So a lot of people think that maybe the reveal for the Switch 2 could actually happen around the 20th, 21st, which was actually line up perfectly with when they announced the Nintendo Switch back in 2016. The 21st is a Monday, then 22nd is a Tuesday. I believe the test begins on Wednesday the 23rd, right? So maybe they announced the Switch 2 like that same time. Maybe announcing this playtest when they did was all just to generate buzz, which obviously worked splendidly for them. I've seen this thing trending on Twitter the past like 2 days, right? So maybe it was all just a marketing ploy to get people talking, and then it actually is some sort of tie-in for the Switch 2 announcement, right? Like, maybe we see the Switch 2 announced on Monday the 21st, then we hear about this playtest, whatever it actually is, and then we actually get to experience it and kind of just know, like, okay, this is actually going to be related to the Switch 2 or be on Switch 2 day one. I don't know if I buy that, but I have seen that theory a lot online. It's definitely not impossible. Like, it's totally reasonable to think that, even, I would say. At this point, it is reasonable to think that whatever this is could actually tie into a Switch 2 announcement. But also, if it is, like, new social features, they could still just, like, have it happen, right? Announce it, you get to test it, and then a week later, announce the Switch 2 and be like, hey, that playtest you did last week, that's actually going to be part of it. Because the playtest also does, interestingly, end on November 5th, which is when their investor meeting is, so I don't know. I do think it could be related, but I'm not sold on that idea. Like I said, I have a conspiracy theory, even though the word feature does kind of take away from the conspiracy, but I think I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. But if we assume the Switch Online playtest is all they're going to do the week of the 21st or the 20th, I guess, then the next logical step for Switch 2 would be, like I said, the 28th, 29th, or the 30th. That is where I'm at, and I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. I really want this thing to be announced. You know, I get comments all the time being like, oh, you're just milking the Switch 2. It's funny to hear that because for a very long time, I was like very adamantly not talking about Switch 2 because I knew it wasn't coming out in 2024. And I certainly knew it wasn't coming out in 2023. That was just ridiculous. So it's funny to see those comments on my videos when, like, I talk about the Switch 2 significantly less than every other Nintendo YouTuber, but we are at the point now where I do think it's going to happen soon, and I really just hope so, because the hardware, cool, whatever. I want to see the hardware as much as the next side. That's going to be exciting. I want to see those games. I want to talk about those games. I want to play those games, and then when I play those games, I want to make videos on those games. That's why I'm here, you know? Talking about the Switch 2 is just kind of padding out my year until it actually happens and we can play the damn thing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you really think that October is the fated month of the Switch 2 reveal, or do you think Nintendo's going to keep us waiting for a little bit longer? I would love to hear what you think. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, reviews, discussions, all that fun stuff. Check out my other channel at Amiibo. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. And until next time, folks, peace.